Come to the South, do some dumb shit, get smoked, and next thing you know, everybody looking around. They got all the guns in the South, bro. They do. They laws is different. They do. Shit, Texas got defensive property. You breaking my car, I get to shoot you. That don't exist nowhere else.
Before last night, his name alone could spark chaos in Chicago. The streets never forgot him. And ever since 2020, people said it was only a matter of time before karma spun the block. Now, after what allegedly went down in Texas, everyone's asking the same question. Was this moment always inevitable? Lil Tim became one of the most hated figures connected to Chicago. After the night King Von lost his life, what made it worse wasn't just what happened. It was what followed: the trolling, the silence, the tension that never died. For years, the streets watched and waited, knowing this story was far from over. So let us really break down how the situation started and why it has been boiling for so long. Lil Tim, whose real name is Timothy Leaks, is originally from Savannah, Georgia. He wasn't a rapper or a cloud chaser. He was known as a street dude, solidified by his loyalty and reputation. Over time, he became public enemy number one to OBlock supporters and King Von fans everywhere. Not because he chased attention, but because of the position he played. Truth is, Tim was never supposed to be in that spotlight. But when you move alongside Quando Rondo, you inherit whatever problems come with that name. Savannah raised him a certain way. Those streets don't forgive weakness. You either stand your ground or get walked over. And Tim had a reputation for never folding, no matter the pressure. In his hood, he was known as someone who didn't run from smoke, the type who'd rather go out standing than live backing down. When he locked in with Quando Rondo's circle, Tim became the protector, always armed, always alert, always ready to put himself between danger and his people. And Quando needed that kind of energy, especially with multiple beefs surrounding him, including the growing tension connected to NBA Youngboys camp. Everything changed on November 6, 2020. Outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta, one decision that night shifted Tim's entire life. What started as a regular outing instantly turned into a moment that would follow him forever. From that second on, a target was placed on his back, not just from fans, but from one of Chicago's most feared blocks. The wild part is, Tim likely didn't even fully grasp who King Von was in that moment. He didn't see a rap superstar or an OBlock legend. He saw his friend getting confronted, and he reacted the way he'd been conditioned to react. Protect your people at all costs. But that split-second loyalty move unknowingly ignited a long-standing war with one of the most ruthless crews in the city. And make no mistake, the tension between Lil Tim and OBlock goes way deeper than that one night in Atlanta. This wasn't random. The friction had been building for months. King Von and Quando Rondo's camps had already been exchanging energy, and Von had been throwing shots long before they crossed paths face to face. King Von wasn't just another rapper. He was OBlock royalty, raised in the same environment that produced Chief Keef and Lil Durk. Von had something rare, real street respect mixed with undeniable rap talent. He wasn't just repping the block, he was funding it. Millions flowed back through his success, all while his reputation kept even the toughest individuals cautious around him. So when all of that was taken away in seconds outside that hookah lounge, it wasn't viewed as just another street. Lost to OBlock, it was devastating. They didn't just lose a man, they lost their golden ticket, their future, and a symbol of everything they stood for. And from that moment on, the streets knew this story was far from finished.
Yeah, Rick and Sean, according to GBI, rapper King Von and his group were at Opium nightclub before making their way here to Monaco Hookah Lounge, then to the parking lot where chaos ensued.
To OBlock, King Von wasn't just a rapper. He was their voice, their breadwinner, and one of their most feared soldiers all in one. His loss hit the block like a personal wound because Von stood for everything they represented. And from the moment he was gone, retaliation became inevitable. Letting that slide was never an option, not when it came to him. Since that night, the mission was clear: catch Lil Tim slipping. This wasn't about internet talk or rap beef anymore. This was personal. OBlock made it known they weren't backing down until they got payback, no matter how long it took. And the scary part, they weren't bluffing. In 2022, 3 individuals connected to OBlock were arrested in Atlanta after allegedly stealing a vehicle and attempting to track down Lil Tim. That incident alone showed how serious the situation had become. These weren't empty threats. People were willing to risk their freedom just for a chance at revenge. Getting caught didn't cool anything off either. If anything, it proved how difficult it was to get close to Tim and how determined they still were. But here's where things crossed into straight disrespect. And this is what really poured gasoline on the fire. Instead of staying quiet or laying low like most people would, Lil Tim did the opposite. He leaned into it. He mocked the situation openly. He dropped music taunting OBlock, laughing at their failed attempts and bragging about what happened that night in Atlanta. He wasn't just defending himself, he was celebrating it. In his songs, Tim spoke like someone untouchable. He referenced King Vin's death repeatedly, daring anyone to do something about it. He posted captions knowing exactly who they were aimed at. Every move felt intentional. Every line felt like a challenge. That kind of energy doesn't just offend, it provokes wars. Turning someone's death into a punchline is a line most people won't cross. But Tim crossed it over and over again, from lyrics to social media. He treated the situation like a trophy. And that's why emotions stayed boiling. That's why people were willing to lose everything just to get to him from a survival standpoint. You could argue Tim's strategy was calculated. Staying visible makes it harder for enemies to move quietly, but at the same time, every post and every song added fuel to a fire that was already raging out of control. And the reaction from the streets proved just how deep this ran. King Von supporters across the country watched every move Tim made, waiting for the moment karma caught up. Comment sections filled with warnings. Other artists quietly chose sides. Chicago as a whole made it clear where their loyalty stood. Von wasn't just respected in OBlock, he was loved throughout the city. Meanwhile, Tim still had backing from his circle in Georgia, and from fans aligned with the NBA YoungBoy side of the larger rap divide. But support doesn't stop bullets, and it doesn't erase the pressure that's been building for years. Social media only amplified everything. Every lyric got dissected. Every post sparked speculation. The entire hip-hop world watched the situation like a slow-burn documentary, knowing the ending hadn't been written yet. Then last night, everything shifted. Rumors began flying that Lil Tim had finally been caught lacking in Texas. Posts flooded timelines claiming he'd been shot multiple times. No confirmations at first, just chaos, speculation, and shock. And that's where the story takes its darkest turn. The rumor going around was that members tied to OBlock had finally located Tim and delivered the retaliation people believed was overdue. The way the information spread was chaotic. It began with a single post from an account that appeared reliable, and within minutes, it exploded across social media. Nobody stopped to verify anything because the story felt believable. Tim had been moving between states, and Texas sounded like a realistic place for something like that to happen. Supporters of King Von reacted instantly. Celebration flooded timelines as people reposted Vin's music and claimed justice had finally been served. Many framed it as karma catching up, saying Von had gotten his revenge from beyond the grave. The dominant narrative was that after years of taunting and disrespect, Tim had finally paid the price. Some even claimed he was chased down while a King Von song played, turning the rumor into something people described as poetic justice. As the story traveled, the details became more dramatic. Some said it happened outside a nightclub. Others claimed it went down at a gas station. Despite the inconsistencies, the streets were convinced OBlock had completed their mission and that Tim was either dead or clinging to life in a Texas hospital. The reaction from Vin's supporters was intense. Photos of Von were shared with captions celebrating his legacy and declaring that justice had been delivered. Others openly mocked the situation, expressing happiness over what they believed was Tim's downfall. But social media isn't the streets, and it doesn't run on facts. It runs on emotion and momentum. When it comes to ongoing beef, especially one this charged, false stories spread faster than the truth. One major warning sign was the absence of confirmation from any credible news source. Then, just as the rumor hit its peak, Tim posted a single hat emoji on Twitter. Anyone familiar with street slang knew exactly what that meant. Cap. With one symbol, he dismissed the entire story, signaling that the reports were fake and that he was still alive. That post instantly deflated the excitement of thousands of people who thought they were finally getting closure. It later came out that the entire situation started with a fake Twitter account looking to troll. The page used a convincing profile picture and bio, which helped the lie gain traction. People didn't share it because it was confirmed. They shared it because they wanted it to be true. This situation highlighted just how dangerous misinformation can be in real street conflicts. Lies can travel faster than facts, and the consequences can be serious. If anyone involved had reacted emotionally or acted on that false report, it could have led to real-world consequences over something that never happened. Tim's response wasn't just about denying the rumor. It was another layer of mind games. By waiting for the story to fully circulate before shutting it down, he maximized the reaction. It reinforced the idea that even when people think they've caught him, he's still standing. It was also another way to mock those hoping for his downfall. The fallout showed how emotionally invested people are in this situation. Once the truth came out, many Von supporters were angry, not just at the fake account, but at themselves for believing it so quickly. That reaction alone shows how deeply this conflict has affected people beyond those directly involved. Psychologically, This has been a long-running battle. Tim has stayed visible, constantly reminding his enemies and the public that he's still around. Every song, every post, every appearance keeps attention alive. That kind of pressure can push people toward reckless decisions. At the same time, staying in the spotlight increases risk. Most people in this position would disappear quietly. Tim has chosen the opposite path. The fake shooting rumor also revealed how badly people want resolution. The fact that so many believed it instantly shows how much anticipation surrounds this conflict. People aren't just observing anymore, they're emotionally tied to the outcome. OBlock members likely saw the rumor too, and it may have served as another reminder that expectations for retaliation still exist. The pressure isn't only internal, it's coming from supporters worldwide, and that pressure hasn't gone away. The reality is this situation isn't close to ending. Tim has been moving carefully, changing locations and staying guarded. But OBlock's mindset hasn't changed since 2020. The desire for payback is still there, and history shows they're willing to risk everything to act on it. What makes this even more dangerous is how public it's become. This conflict hasn't stayed in the streets, it's played out through music posts and online commentary. Every diss track and every disrespectful message keeps reopening wounds. The false report about Tim being shot showed how badly people want closure. Vaughn's supporters want justice, OBlock wants revenge, and the longer it drags on, the more volatile it becomes for everyone involved. Tim may feel untouchable after avoiding harm for this long, but the streets don't forget. OBlock hasn't forgotten King Von, and they haven't stopped looking for an opportunity. When something real does happen, it won't be announced by a fake Twitter page. What began as a confrontation outside a hookah lounge has turned into a multi-year conflict, unfolding in public view. Last night's rumor wasn't real, but the tension behind it is. The speed at which people believed. The story shows just how close the situation feels to boiling over. King Vin's death left a gap that revenge hasn't filled, and Tim's continued trolling keeps reopening that wound. Whether he truly believes he's invincible or is just projecting confidence, conflicts like this usually don't fade away quietly. OBlock carries too much pride and loyalty to let this go completely. Tim carries too much ego to disappear. The streets have been watching for years, and despite last night being capped, the real situation is still very much alive. Both sides remain locked in, and the smoke hasn't cleared yet. When the real moment finally comes, it won't feel like a rumor, and the entire culture will be watching.